If you're stuck in a boring 9-to-5 job right now, feeling like there's more to life, well, I get it. Just a few years ago, I was working a boring office job in the UK, stuck in the same routine every day, wondering if this was all there was to life. I thought I had everything figured out, but deep down, I knew I was on the wrong path. Fast forward to today, I've traveled to over 33 countries, built a location-independent career that I love, and now I can work from anywhere in the world. In today's video, I want to share my story, the struggles that I've faced, and the 5 steps that you can take to start living your dream life as a digital nomad. Let me take you back to where it all started. And like a lot of people, I went to university straight after school. It was the right thing to do, hey? You graduate, you get a real job, but honestly, I felt like I lacked purpose and wasn't really sure what I was aiming towards. I was caught up in the typical drinking culture of universities. I was cramming in study time at the end of the year, and I barely had any money to make it through the weeks. I thought that this was just the way that life was supposed to be, but I just kept thinking, is this it? Is this all I'm working for? During my summers, I spent my time going on European holidays. I did interrailing with a friend, I went on classic girl party holidays, and I even went abroad for cheerleading competitions. And don't get me wrong, it was all a hell of a lot of fun, but I felt like I was just filling up the time rather than actually truly experiencing life. Then, after graduation, I did a 6-week trip with a friend around Thailand and Bali, and this opened my eyes to everything. I met people who seemed to have so much more going on, people who were working online, living freely, and traveling the world. That's when my eyes really opened to a different type of life. But despite this, I went back to the UK and got a typical graduate job in marketing, the 9-to-5 grind. Low salary, low benefits, and I was leaving home when it was dark and getting home when it was dark too. I'd work all week and then hit the pub with friends on the weekends to relax. Just a cycle of working for the weekend, feeling like I was getting nowhere. A year later, the company I was working for offered me an extended contract and a slight promotion. And as tempting as it was to climb the corporate ladder, something inside of me told me this wasn't the life that I was longing for. I realized I didn't want to stay in a job just for a paycheck. I wanted more, and I needed more. So I made the decision. I was going to change everything. And people I'd met on my travels had told me about Australia and the working holiday visa. So I booked a one-way ticket and got on the plane to Australia for a 12-month trip. I had seen so many others on Instagram follow this same path, and they looked like they were living the dream. This was it. I was finally gonna be living my dream life. But I landed in Sydney, and let me tell you, it felt very similar to the UK, but just a little bit better weather. I did my farm work, and I ended up staying for much longer than I'd planned. I partied, I met people, I had fun, but soon I realized it was just like the UK. High rent, expensive living, low motivation, and even worse, I was isolated. I was away from my family and friends, and I was back in the rat race. This was no different to the life I was living back home. I was just on the other side of the world. And then COVID hit, and I couldn't keep pretending. Suddenly I was stuck inside, I couldn't travel, and I had no purpose. I was surrounded by friends who were just drinking buddies. I had no real drive. That's when the light bulb moment happened. I was the problem. I suddenly knew if I wanted to change my life, I needed to change my mindset. So I moved to the Gold Coast to start a clean slate, and this time it was gonna be different. Although I was getting on a plane, I knew I had to change more than just the location I was living in. I started investing in myself, buying online courses, developing new skills in marketing, and planning for my future. I prioritized my health and fitness and gained more consistency in my routine. I even took a pay cut to get ahead, which felt super risky at the time, but it was definitely all worth it. I supported my partner as he built his marketing agency, and within just a few months, I was able to quit my full-time job and start working with him to help build our dream life. The flexibility was life-changing, and by the age of 25, I was living a dream life I could have only dreamed of before. Working remotely, building the business, earning more than ever before, and traveling to wherever I wanted. Since then, I've been able to travel the world, all whilst building a location-independent career that's paying me a six-figure income. Living in the Gold Coast has been amazing. I've met the most incredible people. I have such real and true friendships and amazing personal growth. And the best part, I now have the ability to live and travel to anywhere in the world, and I've even gained permanent residency in Australia. Now I want to help you achieve the same things. So here are the 5 steps that I took that allowed me to take the leap from a boring 9-to-5 job to living this truly amazing nomadic lifestyle. Now, if I've been able to do it, you can definitely do it yourself. All it takes is a little bit of determination and making sure you're putting your motivation to good use. The first step is to believe that it's truly possible. I had to change my mindset from I can't do this to how can I do this? If you believe it's possible, you'll start looking for solutions rather than reasons why it won't work. Number 2, invest in your skills. I didn't just leave my job and expect that everything was gonna fall into place. I took extra time to learn marketing. I even bought online courses out of my own hard work money, but it was 100% worth it. I now have invaluable skills that I could, if I ever wanted to, take into any other position that I may need in the future. For you, that might be digital marketing, it could be freelancing, it could be something completely creative, but just find something that excites you. There's so many resources out there, free and paid, and the internet has opened a world of opportunities. Take that internship, work for free, and if you can, maybe even take the pay cut if it means you're gonna get ahead in terms of skills and development. Step 3, cut your expenses and save your money. You don't have to be rich to travel the world, and although it is a lot easier to earn more money than it is to save, when you're starting this journey, you need to be a little bit more careful with your hard-earned cash. I save money by cutting back on unnecessary expenses. I limited my partying, I didn't eat out as much, and I was just overall more intentional with my spending. Think to yourself, do you really need that fancy car? I know myself, I'm still driving around a crappy Suzuki Swift, which I share with my boyfriend. It was $6,000, but it gets us from A to B, and that's one of the areas that's just not important to me. So potentially think about what is really important to you and whether that money can be used better for your financial future. Step 4. Take calculated risks. Leaving my full-time job was a huge risk, but it definitely paid off. Take the leap only when you feel ready and assess your own personal situation to make sure that if anything in an emergency happened, you were still able to live on your own or be able to cover those costs. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect, as it's probably never going to be. Trust yourself and your ability to work things out. Your confidence will grow. Step 5, and this is arguably the most important of them all. Create a flexible income stream. Whether it's freelancing, building an online business, or working remotely, find a way to create an income that's not tied to a specific location. We found success helping real estate agents with their digital marketing, and now we have close to 100 clients and an entire team to help us run the business. So if you're like most and you're stuck in a job that's not fulfilling you, you and you're dreaming of a life where you can work from anywhere, then I encourage you to take that first step. It's not always gonna be easy, of course, but I promise you, it is worth it. You have the power to design the life that you want, and if I can do it, so can you. This is just the beginning, and I'm here to help you along the way. And I'm about to embark on my own personal journey all over again. I'm packing up my stuff and I'm leaving Australia to travel and work to a new country all over again. And I want to bring you along to show you the highs and lows and what it's really like to live as a digital nomad in 2025. So if you want to learn more on how you can become a successful digital nomad, or if you want to just follow along on my own personal adventures, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below with any questions you have, and I'd love to hear about where you would like to travel to and what's stopping you from making that first step. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, I'm sure you're gonna love this one just here.